And now that you've seen that result, what I want to do is spend just a little bit more time talking about this information right here. This offset information, the batches, and the committing. So I have put some notes down here at the end. And I should mention that if you already know Kafka, you may not need to hear all this information again. So if you already know this, by all means, please skip forward in this video past this discussion. But for those who are not familiar with Kafka, in Kafka, offset information refers to the position of a message within a partition of a topic. And what that means in the context of our code is that when you see this map offset line right here, what's happening is that each message in Kafka has a unique offset position or offset within its partition. And if I slide this over here, that might help a little bit because you can see the partition and offset and also the values over here. So again, each message in Kafka has a unique offset position within its partition. The consumer, which is our code, keeps track of which messages it has processed by recording these offset values. And then when you call map offset, what you're doing is we're extracting just the offset information from each record. So you could say that this code could be written in the longer way like that. And that syntax may be a little easier to read. So again, when we make that call, we're extracting just the offset information that we want from each record. So we end up with this offset information as the result of this map call. And then this offset information will be used to commit our progress to Kafka. We commit the offsets with this code. So we have the aggregate async call right there. This one groups the offsets into batches for efficient committing. This one here, the map ZIO call, actually does the committing. So it commits each batch of offsets to Kafka. So with this code, what we're doing is we're telling Kafka, I've successfully processed all messages up to this point. And as a note here, that serves several important points. If your consumer fails and restarts, it knows where to resume from. If you have multiple consumers in a consumer group, Kafka can distribute the partitions, and it prevents your application from processing the same message twice. So as a note in this paragraph right here, offset information is the critical tracking mechanism that enables Kafka to maintain its processing state and support Kafka's durability and at least once processing guarantees. And then the last sentence here is that with additional setup, transactions specifically, you can also achieve exactly once processing. So to be clear, right now what we have is at least once processing. And with this little bit of additional work of transactions, you can also achieve exactly once processing. And then I dug into that just a little bit more to get some details about offset tracking. So I note those here. Each consumer belongs to a consumer group, which is defined in our consumer settings. And I noted that in the previous video that we would set the consumer group ID right here. And that's typically going to be some name like order processing service or email notification consumer. And as I noted in the previous video, I'm using the timestamp here so we can see all the records every time we run over here. But in the real world, you're going to use names like this or like this. So that's what this first line here means, is that each consumer belongs to a consumer group. Then when offsets are committed via commit, Kafka stores those offsets on the server and it stores them in an internal topic called consumer offsets. And then that offset information is tracked per consumer group, per topic, and per partition. And as I noted up here, a benefit of that is that this allows consumers in the same group to resume processing from where they left off if they happen to disconnect and then reconnect. That's just one of the benefits, and then I noted the other ones up here. Okay, so that is a summary of offset information and offset tracking. So if you want to come back and read that, look for file number 112 in the GitHub repository and then come down to the bottom of this file, and that's where you'll find this extra documentation down here.